Bring it on.
Yes, sir. Tell me about the obviously we're going to talk about the academy, jump into the academy experience and stuff like that. Tell me where we started, kind of where you're at today and how that
Yeah,
process went.
for sure. So, and I started with I think I found you probably a year or so ago. I followed Dave Ramsey online, and you or one of your, we'll call them minions, had commented on one of Dave Ramsey's,
That was
you know,
me.
yeah. So you had commented on Dave Ramsey. I'm like, what the heck, stupid name, budget dog. Click on it, whatever. And I'm like, oh, this guy actually aligns with most of what Dave Ramsey says, but I think is maybe a little more tailored to me. So started following you there, and then I think through that time you had morphed into the course. Um, so I started. So backing up, I started the academy in a good spot. We're already from a on paper we're already millionaires, 1.3 status. Most of that is because of
Amazing.
the three properties that we have.
Uh-huh.
But and I feel like I've always maxed out, or not maxed out, but contributed to my 401k, and even at like 18, 19 years old was contributing to a Roth for, because that's what I did. That's just what my parents said to do. But I didn't know, and I've always gone through professionally managed, um, or had our funds professionally managed. And so now backing up, it was time to take things to the next level, to say, all right, and as good as my wife and I are about spending, I had no idea where our funds were going.
Mhm.
Am I upset with myself that I had to pay money for somebody to force myself to tell me how much I was spending? Yeah, but that's what it took me to understand what my monthly expenses are. And so again, disappointed in myself, or not, I'm using that term. Um, I'm glad that that's what it forced me to do, is to understand, all right, with 4 kids, this is at our stage of life, this is what we're spending. So now I know,
Mhm.
really. So through your academy, my goals were to understand the tax implications that I could and should be taking advantage of. Admittedly, I think I came into the academy, and sorry, I'm just rambling.
No,
Um,
go for it, man. I
you know,
like
I,
it.
I came into the academy more with the understanding of, okay, I'm just going to turn everything over to Brendan, and he's going to tell me exactly, exactly what to do. And very wisely, that's not what your program is. It's, I'm going to teach you how to fish rather than fish for you. And so then it's, of course, well, how bad do I want it? And so that's where it turns to. So the biggest thing for me, which you pointed out in a video when you reviewed our finances, was, if I want to retire early, well, I've been doing everything right. I'm contributing to my HSA, 401k, blah blah blah. Was the missing link was the taxable brokerage. And so now, um, if I stay on track to everything that I want to do, we should be contributing about 50% to retirement. So
Of your take
50%
home
of our
pay?
income. Yeah. So
Wow.
between, if I max out my 401k, which is, we'll call it 23,
Yep.
HSA of 8, um, and then a Roth,
IRA.
yeah, Roth at what is it now? 13.
7. Oh
Um,
yeah, times 2.
yeah, so times 2, plus another 20 if I do 2,000 per month, which you have helped me get there.
Yep.
Then we're sitting close to 70,000 a year.
Wow.
Um, and I don't think I realized that before. And now my work. So let me also caveat: I haven't broken up with with. So I've rolled over an old Roth, so I probably got like $200,000, $300,000 in that's being professionally managed.
Yep.
Um, like everyone, he's a good dude. He has actually helped me and provided me with, last year he says, hey, rather than contribute both, Joe and Jamie to a Roth, why don't you do one to a traditional, one to a Roth, and that will help with taxes. I'm still wrapping my brain around that, and I still occasionally go back to your
That
videos.
wouldn't make sense because you could do you're trying to get pre-tax dollars ultimately, right?
Yeah,
And you guys are up there in income, which pro rata becomes a relevant thing for you guys. So it might make sense to go pre-tax in the 401k, keep IRAs Roth.
sure. And I'm still working through all this, and that's his opinion, and so I'm not right now. I'm running a hybrid approach of, my taxable brokerage is all on me. I'm
Yep.
still in same with I'm controlling my current 401k. He just has my old rolled over traditional 401k and now Roths. So I think there's still opportunity to change that, but there is, as you talk about it in your book and your videos, there is that stupid peace of mind that I feel like I have right now.
Yep.
And there is something to be said about me being able to pick up the phone and call it, hey, but I do need to, I'll meet with them again next year and say, hey, I am doing this separate. I think you need to know that I'm doing this separately if we are going to do this, or I'm taking everything away from you and I'm going to do it separately.
Yep.
So that being said, I think the theme hopefully that you're hearing from me is, holy crap, this has been great. Okay, so yeah, and help me. So what does the next phase look like for me?
Yeah. So like,
and thank you for
like
giving us full access to Budget Dog Academy.
Post graduation, so after the 6-month mark on the dot would be, technically speaking, you have graduated officially. Now, what does that mean from your angle? Everything remains the same except the chat feature to myself and Tom, and then also the live calls one-on-one.
Yep.
That's the only difference.
Okay.
But you can show up on the calls, like our live group calls. You can post in the community. We encourage that because we think that life's going to change as like you guys get older and stuff. We want you guys to have somewhere to go, to ask questions, to discuss, to come on the calls and talk to us live. We want that to be a thing. So like, we don't want to boot people out, because I kept getting so. I'll be honest, like, dude, I developed so many good relationships in here. So like, selfishly, I like people in here. Like, I just, for sake of communication. And so I was like, man, I miss Stacy. I miss, Devin. I miss all these people. I'm just going to make this lifetime. Like, there's got to be, obviously to a certain extent, there's got to be some like threshold on like how much communication and stuff, but like just from a business standpoint, but in my time standpoint, but in general, I just want people in there. I want people in this community and group.
Yeah. Awesome.
So yeah, that's what it looks like, man. I really appreciate you coming on here, man. If I were to say, if somebody is on the fence, let's say they're like, man, I don't know if this is the right thing for me, what would you tell somebody?
So before I answer that question, I have a couple buddies that have 3 mortgages on their house, bought their house and then 2 more mortgages to upgrade it. And like, dude, trying to even convince people of the situation that they're in is the hardest part.
I know.
And so through my church, our church offers a budgeting and finance, it's strictly budgeting. And,
sure.
And we've taken advantage of that. And this is a whole nother level, but that's a good step for lots of people. I guess my question to you is, how do I convince good buddies of mine that they need to get their crap together?
That's my job every single day. I'm trying to figure out myself. It's tough, man. Like, sometimes if you tell people, hey, you need this, they're not gonna be like, no, I don't. But like, if you talk about your experience in particular, like, hey, I was able to do this, this, and that. And because I did that, now my outcome is going to be this, or I'm going to be able, let's call it, someone's goal is to retire early. Talk about that stuff. I think that's when people open their minds, like, oh, wow, you can retire 10 years earlier. How are you doing this? Okay, well, here's the solution. And that's what I typically go from. I don't say, hey, you need Budget Dog Academy. You need this. Like, we know most people are going to need something like this. But at the end of the day, most people don't think they do. And that's a challenge. So it's painting the picture of what your life could look like versus what it's going to look like with your current actions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
About it.
Yeah. So, I mean, like anything, I think my response to your question would be, it's like going to the gym. You need to do it. You're not doing it. I'm not, but and I'm sure everyone pays different for the course depending on what they're, So, it will be a sacrifice in time and in money. And if you and your wife are serious about it, then it can change the course of your life. I mean, so
literally, I've had so many calls with different students over the years, and it's been enlightening to see where they were and like that, like hesitation and kind of like that nervousness is like, hey, I'm a guy online. Like you said, I show up on Dave Ramsey's post as Budget Dog. Who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get to know me, you get to get deeper in the process, and you're like, wow, this actually is pretty helpful. But it's nerve-wracking for somebody coming in, has no idea who I am. I'm just another guy online selling the program at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like that's what people kind of assess it as. And it's like, get to know the backstory, get to know everything that goes into this process, and you'll understand. You'll get to there.
And now more than ever, because I am following you on YouTube and socials, I now have 1,000 other gurus who think that they know best. And so I think, to put it in a dumb way, the temptations are even greater for me now of, hey, do this, do that, now that my mind is in this game. And so I think just reiterating to us students or an occasional check-in, hey, like a year down the road, and I'm thinking, how can I make sure that I felt good about this decision a year ago,
Yep.
but how do I make sure that nothing else, oh, this latest and greatest thing slips in, or my best friend is now doing this, and I was just arguing with my good buddy
That's life,
about,
man. There's always gonna be some shiny object out there.
yeah,
If you actually, so all the people you're following, right? If you actually listen to the core message, I mean, it depends who you're following, but like in general, I think most are gonna say budgeting,
budget,
index funds, life
yep,
insurance, term life insurance, that is, all these different fundamental pillars, and like that's really what you need to focus on and lean into.
yeah,
Like there's always going to be some like exciting thing like Bitcoin mining or crypto of some sort. Like that's
for
going to
sure,
be there. And it's always good. AI right now is the hot thing.
yep,
And so there's going to be an AI course that pops up. You can make so much money in AI, blah, 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 blah. It's all judgment, I think, at the end of the day.
yeah, I
Staying
agree,
true to your core, staying true to your fundamentals, making sure you don't get too far off course. I mean, you can try different things. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
yeah,
Trying something different and taking a chance. And there's risk involved. Obviously, who are you dealing with? How much money are you paying? All those kind of things. But I would say good judgment and having a good guide to who's real and who's not. There's a lot of fakes out there, a lot of
sure,
phonies, but that's just part of the game.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Hey, I appreciate you coming on here. I really do.